Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a curious boy named Arthur. Arthur spent most of his days in his grandfather's dusty workshop, filled with old things and mysterious devices. One day, a forgotten box covered in dust caught his attention. Written in golden letters on the box were the words, "Time Clock." Arthur opened the box and found a glowing clock adorned with intricate gears. The stories his grandfather had told echoed in his mind. This clock was a magical device that could take its owner on a journey through time. Arthur pressed a small button on the clock. Suddenly, a bright light surrounded him, and he found himself in the midst of prehistoric times. Enormous dinosaurs roamed around, and pterodactyls glided in the sky. Arthur carefully moved through a giant pile of leaves. However, as a massive diplodocus approached, Arthur quickly turned the dial on the clock and transported himself to another time. This time, Arthur appeared in one of the dazzling cities of the future. Air vehicles filled the sky. Arthur noticed the clock shimmering, signaling it was ready for the next journey. Arthur found himself in ancient Egypt, where massive pyramids were being constructed. Workers were carrying giant stone blocks. As Arthur wandered among the pyramids, he realized he had left the clock in a temple. He followed a series of clues, found the clock, and managed to escape just in time. Now he was in the Middle Ages. A castle was under siege, and knights in armor were fighting. Arthur quickly moved on to another adventure. This time, Arthur found himself on the deck of a pirate ship. Pirates were carrying a large treasure chest onto the deck. Arthur hid in a corner, watching the events unfold. However, when the ship's captain noticed him, Arthur quickly used the time clock to transport himself to another time. Arthur found himself on a high-tech spaceship with the crew traveling between planets. After spending some time there, Arthur continued his journey. Arthur was now in a frozen world filled with glaciers and giant mammoths. As the time clock started to freeze, Arthur transported himself to the next adventure. Arthur joined a prehistoric community and witnessed the discovery of fire. When a curious cave bear approached, Arthur quickly activated the time clock and disappeared. This time, Arthur was in a world of ruined cities. Humanity was trying to rebuild civilization. With the help of the time clock, Arthur reactivated a device that could balance time, helping them in their efforts. Finally, Arthur reached a time where humanity had evolved into a completely different species. By sharing his knowledge of the old world, he helped them build a better future. Once his mission was complete, Arthur placed the time clock back in its box and returned home. The time clock sat silently in its box, waiting for the next curious soul to embark on a new adventure.